and Ebert bank robber George Clooney falls for federal marshal Jennifer Lopez in Out of Sight.
Two American Indians make a spiritual journey in Smoke Signals.
And Eddie Murphy talks with the animals as Dr. Doolittle.
Adele said you do that when you're nervous.
She did she?
You kept touching me, feeling my thigh.
But in a nice way.
Jennifer Lopez is a federal marshal drawn to bank robber George Clooney in Out of Sight. One of 5 new movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. A lot of movies have imitated Pulp Fiction, but Steven Soderbergh's Out of Sight is the first one to understand it and build on it in an original way. It's another one of those movies about colorful criminals where the timeline coils back and forth between the present and the past, and it stars George Clooney as one of America's most prolific bank robbers and Jennifer Lopez as an ambitious federal marshal who stumbles upon him during a prison break.
It's okay, we're the good guys.
What are you doing here?
Hey, oh. All right, you're just a girl. What do you do for a living? You pack a shotgun.
I'm a federal marshal and you're under arrest.
It's her job to capture him, and she takes her job seriously, but she also takes him seriously. And when they meet in an anonymous hotel bar, it's kind of like both sides call a timeout.
You like taking risks.
So do you.
You know, sooner or later, you really wear that suit.
Well, it's not what you were about to say.
In prison, Clooney learned about a fellow prisoner, a Wall Street manipulator played by Albert Brooks, who keeps uncut diamonds in his house. That sets up a caper involving Clooney, his friend, played by Ving Rhames, and other assorted lowlifes played by Don Cheadle, Steve Zahn, and Kenneth Lonergan.
I got a low class of people there, Snoop.
Hey, you call him that again, I'm gonna put your head through the wall. What? You mean Snoop?
Nobody calls me Snoop or Snoopy anymore is what White Boy Bob's trying to tell you right now. He's just a little crude with it, you know what I mean?
The movie is based on an Elmore Leonard novel and realizes that for Leonard, the plot is much less important than relishing the characters and the way they talk to one another. Out of Sight is an example of the right actors in the right movie at the right time. Clooney and Lopez have a nice, unforced, colorful intimacy throughout the film, and both of them seem utterly confident of their comic powers, so that they never force anything. They let the laughs and Leonard's dialogue develop naturally. The movie was directed by Steven Soderbergh, and it's his best since Sex, Lies, and Videotape, which was nearly 10 years ago. It's tricky the way the movie's timeline doubles back on itself so that you leave the theater still trying to figure out exactly what happened when. I think this is one of the year's best entertainments.
Well, I want to focus on something you said, which is that it's less about a plot than about the characters. And frankly, I wish you would give that speech in every theater in which this film plays, because I think a lot of people are going to be confused.
Really?
Oh, yes. I mean, I was sitting there and basically, you know, wondering, what's this about? Because of the number of, as you said, colorful characters. I mean, that's the real essence of the film, is just this parade of characters. I mean,
actually, that makes this the most faithful movie yet, based on an Elmore Leonard novel. And I read all of his books, and he just loves to get into the situations. People sit around and talk, and the plot is kind of held over till the next chapter. And by the time they finally get around to raiding the guy's house and so forth, it's more like how the characters interact there than whether or not they get the diamonds. And I like that.
Yeah, but it can be disturbing or difficult for an audience that isn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for a more conventional film. I wouldn't want to do that by saying that there should be a through line, as they say in a script, you know, here. So, but it could use something approaching that, because otherwise it's just
it's a movie for smart people. I mean, it's not just for your caper, crime, action, car chase movie.
I think you just congratulated yourself with that remark, didn't you?
Thank you.
Thank yourself. You said it, not me. Okay, next movie. And our next film is a winner from a fresh source, the Native American Indian community. It's called Smoke Signals, and it's a verbal road trip movie that follows a couple of guys traveling cross-country from Idaho to Phoenix and talking about their families and personal dreams. The young men who grew up together are named Victor Joseph and Thomas Builds a Fire. He's the one with the braids. And they are on a journey to pick up the cremated remains of Victor's estranged father.
Don't you even know how to be a real Indian?
I guess not.
Oh, shit, no wonder. Jeez. I guess I'll have to teach you then, ain't it? First of all, quit grinning like an idiot. Indians ain't supposed to smile like that. Get stoic.
Here we meet the father's Arizona friend, Susie, played by actress Irene Bedard, best known for providing the voice and the facial model for the animated film Pocahontas.
There were mothers and fathers dancing, and brothers and sisters. There were some sweethearts. Then there was your dad and me.
And what were you two?
We kept each other's secrets.
Back to the Travelers, played by Adam Beach and Evan Adams. Here's a rare recommendation from me. I found these guys so engaging and so natural that I did not want this movie to end. In fact, I'm asking for a sequel.
Man, the Cowboys always win.
The Cowboys don't always win.
Yeah, they do. The Cowboys always win. Look at Tom Mix.
Another truly enjoyable surprise is the occasional appearance of a local radio traffic reporter who hangs out at a lonely intersection and could easily become a cult figure.
A couple of cars went by earlier. You know old Mrs. Joe? She was speeding. And Kimmy and James, they went by in a yellow car and they were arguing. Ain't no traffic, really.
One of the best moments in the film is a beautiful poem about fathers and sons that cuts to the heart of the conflicts in this film.
How do we forgive our fathers? Maybe in a dream? Do we forgive our fathers for leaving us too often or forever when we were little? Maybe for scaring us with unexpected rage or making us nervous because there never seemed to be any rage there at all?
Obviously, Smoke Signals is not in any way a standard film involving Native Americans. These are very specific characters, but not every utterance and every event in the film revolves around their Indian heritage. The result is to expand our notion of just who Native Americans are and can be. This thoroughly entertaining film, Smoke Signals, could turn out to be a milestone in the Native American cinema. It could become the equivalent of the black cinema's She's Gotta Have It by Spike Lee in terms of contemporizing characters. Obviously, I'm giving a strong recommendation to Smoke Signals.
I loved it too. I'll tell you, Gene, the interesting thing here is that for once I felt I was seeing real Native Americans every day talking to each other, living lives without all kinds of filters of history and tradition and archetypes and stereotypes between me and the screen. These are just two people.
People first.
Yes, and that was really refreshing, and the acting is lots of fun, especially the smaller of the two actors who can't stop talking and is really engaging.
And how about that traffic report? That's really good.
He reports on every car that goes past, and if I lived in that area, I'd want to listen because then I'd find out where everybody was and where they were headed.
Somebody in a big city, or frankly a small city, should rip off this character. I'm talking about for a radio station.
Sure.
You just plant somebody at a random corner and have the guy describe every car he sees go by. You'll have a major audience draw.
Sounds good to me. Later in the show, from the director of The Truman Show, the classic mystery of schoolgirls who vanished from the picnic at Hanging Rock. Coming up next, Eddie Murphy is Dr. Doolittle.
Oh, Mrs. Doolittle.
Do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight.
Ball, throw the ball. Ever you want the ball, I want you to think about something else.
Just don't say anything more, just throw the ball.
Eddie Murphy treats an obsessive-compulsive pooch, one of the many animals he develops a special relationship with in our next film, Dr. Doolittle, a comic remake of the 1967 musical about the man who could talk to the animals. And I think I expected a lot more, specifically a lot funnier and maybe even more charming movie from Eddie Murphy, but I had a ho-hum reaction to this picture, which for me could have been renamed The Animals Yell at Dr. Doolittle and He Yells Back.
You're a monster! Hey, what are you doing? Leave me alone! Hey, what are you, nuts? Hey, I'm Rose!
You stay away, I'll kill you!
Don't leave me out here! It's hot! Hey, what kind of doc are you?
Obviously, this film is going to draw children, and although it has been rated PG-13, I was stunned by the amount of anal rectal humor in the film. I'll bet, and this is not an exaggeration, I'll bet a full quarter of the gags were centered on the animal's hindquarters. Wow, did that get tiresome.
I'm going to swallow the thermometer, and I don't mean in my mouth.
Dr. Fish, maybe I should pull that out a little bit.
Don't you touch that.
It's heading in. It's going south for the winter.
And the humans are involved in bathroom humor, too, including young Raven Simone from The Cosby Show as Doolittle's daughter.
Lucky's in the bathroom right now.
The dog is using the bathroom.
Okay, there are some gags that do work. I got a kick out of Doolittle doing mouth-to-mouth on a flatlining rat.
Johnny, no, Johnny, oh, for Christ's sakes, oh. You didn't even wine him or dine him, Doc. No, Doc. No, I think my friend would rather die. He'd rather die. No tongue, Doc. Eesh.
That was a cute moment, but I thought more could have been made of the Doolittle family relationships. How about the daughter taking Dad to show and tell at school? How about him becoming a national celebrity after appearing on the stupid pet trick segment of The Late Show with David Letterman? And then both he and the animals have to deal with performance anxiety. Or offers to be included in such cultural events as the Broadway production of Cats. And the reason I'm thinking of all of these ideas is because I think the screenplay is bereft of them. How about judging a pet contest? Westminster Kennel Club or something. This Dr. Doolittle, save for an occasional moment when Eddie Murphy's smile and charm does light up the screen, is just a lot of yelling and, as I've said, toilet humor.
I don't know if you're reviewing the movie or writing the sequel to it, because, talking about the movie that I saw in the theater the other night, I had a wonderful time, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very funny. Now, there is some gross-out humor, but it's the kind of humor kids like. They like bathroom jokes. They enjoy that stuff. And it wasn't really in bad taste.
Repeatedly, Roger? I mean,
it wasn't that repeatedly. There was a whole lot of different kind of humor in there. For example, I love it when his dog tells him, why dogs sniff each other, and so he tries the same approach to the principal. Yeah. You got to admit that was funny.
Yeah, again, and where is the nose, Raj?
I'm suggesting that's where the nose was. Yeah. You've got to admit that was funny.
I'm telling you, that's the humor. Take away his rectal thermometer, and this guy doesn't have a gag left.
The rectal thermometer sequence was hilarious. It was hilarious, Gene. Okay. This movie is fun.
When we come back, schoolgirls vanish into thin air in the classic mystery Picnic at Hanging Rock.
There she is, ladies. Hanging Rock.
On a lazy summer's day, a group of Australian schoolgirls go on an outing to an ancient geological outcropping, and 3 of them and their teacher disappear into thin air. That's the situation in Picnic at Hanging Rock, the 1975 film from early in the career of Peter Weir, who will go on to direct such films as Witness, The Dead Poets Society, and The Current Truman Show. This early film unmistakably established his talent as he evolved subtle, sinister undercurrents during an apparently happy day.
Never stopped before. Must be something magnetic.
Well after 2, I'd say. We'd better be careful. I promised Mrs. Appleyard I'd have you lot back at the college by 8.
Nature itself is one of the characters in the movie as the girls in their summer dresses penetrate into an outcropping more than 1 million years old and said to be dangerous and snake-infested. What happens to the 3 missing girls and their teacher? I don't think we'd be happier in knowing, because a rational explanation would destroy the mood of this film, which is about the way that inexplicable dangers and terrors can reach out and swat down the certainties of human life. It leaves you filled with its disturbing atmosphere. Peter Weir's re-edited version of Picnic at Hanging Rock, which loses 7 minutes from the original cut, is going to play around the country in the months to come, and it's worth looking for.
Well, Roger, I took some schoolgirls to see this movie, and here's what I told them before the picture. Girls, you're not going to know what happened in this picture, because we're never told. But I guarantee, after it's over, you will be thinking about this movie for a long, long time, and you will be able to recall the mood of it, the sense of being there. And it's using all the non-narrative powers of film.
Yes, it is.
It uses music beautifully without, having a sense of being ominous without being obviously so. Handheld camera work to place us in the location. It's just wonderful. I mean, the story is not the story. It's the mood is the story of being there, and he does a magnificent job. It's one of my favorite films simply because of that. I like films that, don't tell a story.
Yeah, well, it has the whole specific, realistic detail of the investigation, the search, the repercussions, the scandal, and yet at the center is this enormous mystery that is never...
When you think of this picture, I don't think you think of the investigation. I think of being near the rock.
Right there exactly. On that rock, because it's like a summer day. You see the insects,
and then maybe a tree limb crossing in front of you or something.
And then this enormous mystery. When we come back, a detective digs himself deeper and deeper into a guilty hole in Insomnia. And disturbing crime stories I've seen in a long time, a police procedural that's more like a psychological case study. It's called Insomnia. It comes from Norway, and it tells the story of a Swedish detective who is investigating a murder in a small Norwegian coastal village in the far north and gets involved in a guilty deception. The movie stars Stellan Skarsgård, who you may remember from Breaking the Waves and Good Will Hunting.
Kanskje nettopp den trengte.
Hva mener du?
Hjelpe på selvfølelsen. Det er vel ikke det man har mest av når man er 17.
But then something happens that the detective feels he must cover up, and it fills him with a deep sense of dread.
Jag kan ha stått några meter närmare vattenkanten, men det var ingen betydelse.
Du må ha stått 50.
Vi jagar en mördare, vad är det du håller på med?
Vill du forandre forklaringen din?
Gör om du har lust.
The director, Eric Skoldberg, quietly and efficiently spins a web of deception and paranoia, and we identify completely with the detective, who is not a bad man, but is in a very bad situation of his own making. The movie has a strong sense of place, and one of its images is of this policeman trying to block out the midnight sun from his hotel room, while at the same time trying to escape the spotlight of his colleagues' suspicions. Insomnia is a hypnotic film by a director who captures the audience and won't let go.
I liked it too, and you're quite right about saying you cannot predict from moment to moment what you're going to even see. And this director, frankly, I think takes a lot of risk giving us repeated shots of this man in bed, avoiding the light, the truth, if you will, the real world. And, that isn't necessarily very cinematic. And so that's a gutsy move. But yet the story is carried, and our interest is carried along with it.
And what's nice, too, is that there were two things going along at the same time. The investigation of the murder.
Right.
And then the other investigation. And this guy is in the middle of both investigations, working against himself. The construction of the story is really ingenious.
Yeah, it's a very good film, and you haven't seen anything like this before. When we come back, our video pick of the week, a fascinating look at obsession, inventions, and a hidden world.
Now you can own Walt Disney's 10th animated masterpiece for the first time ever, Melody Time, featuring Donald Duck. Share the timeless musical stories with your family. Walt Disney's Melody Time, on sale now.
Siskel and Ebert's Video Pick of the Week is brought to you by Nestle Raisinets. At the movies or at home, Raisinets.
New on video this week is Fast, Cheap, and Out of Control, a documentary that plays like a hymn to human ambition. The underlying theme of Errol Morris's film is the desire by man to control things, to make nature and inventions reflect the human will. The film examines 4 people whose lives have been directed by that obsession, including an animal trainer.
If you get injured during a wild animal act, you have to go ahead and finish the act.
A man who designs robots.
One night, the physical robot actually moved.
A gardener who trims nature into shapes recognizable by man.
Then, of course, the arms, you have to tie them down so that they'll stay down.
And the designer of artificial habitats for the naked mole rat, an African mammal that organizes its colonies like insects.
And he explained to me that a mammal had been found that lived underground in these complexes. The next day I ran off to a magazine editor and told him the story and said, I have to take pictures of these animals. You have to send me to Africa.
Fast, Cheap, and Out of Control is new in the video stores, and it's my video pick of the week. Now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed this week. A split decision for Out of Sight. I like the smooth comic chemistry of Jennifer Lopez and George Clooney. Gene was distracted by the constant parade of supporting characters. 2 big thumbs up for Smoke Signals, an important film. A split decision on Dr. Doolittle. I liked Eddie Murphy as the anchor for sometimes gross but actually kind of sweet animal humor. Gene was disappointed by the amount of bathroom material. 2 thumbs up for Peter Weir's re-edited Picnic at Hanging Rock, still haunting in its mystery of a strange disappearance. And 2 enthusiastic thumbs up for Insomnia, the quietly brilliant story of a Swedish detective who fights to get free from his own web of guilt.
Remember, you can hear our reviews on the web at Siskel-Ebert.com. Next week, we'll be back with reviews of more new movies, including the science fiction thriller Armageddon, starring Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck, and Liv Tyler. That's next week. And until then, the balcony is closed.